7 defeats in 8 Premier League games has left Liverpool's title defence in tatters, and Jamie Carragher has called out Mo Salah for not being vocal enough during this poor run. As one of Liverpool's senior players, Carragher believes Salah only talks to the media when he's won man of the match or wants a new contract.
I must say, on the back of all these Liverpool defeats, it's always Virgil van Dijk who comes out. And as I said, the captain should do that, but there should be other players in that dressing room coming out and speaking for the club. A year ago this weekend, Mo Salah wasn't shy in coming out and speaking about his own situation, about the club not offering him a contract. I only ever hear Salah speak when he gets man of the match, or he needs a new contract. I'd like to see Mo Salah come out as one of the leaders, one of the legends of Liverpool, come out and speak for the team. It shouldn't always be the captain.
Right, OK, Charlie and Jamie, we know we disagree on this one. Charlie, why is Carragher right?
Because I just think that he is, like he says, senior player, the go-to player on the pitch, off the pitch, that everyone says how professional he is. Just come out and speak on behalf of your teammates. I just feel like that's something that you can look on and other players would look towards. And we can talk about yesteryear and how other players didn't, right? The game and the media side of it has completely moved on. You've got everyone through all the mixed zones, outside fans with phones, cameras who people speak to. And like I said, it was a year on, we were talking about outside St Mary's when he said about his contract situation, all this. I just think for now, and this pivotal moment, that sometimes it shouldn't always just be the captain for me.
What difference does it make if he comes out and talks? Why does he have to come out and talk?
Why Van Dijk every time? Just because he's the captain?
Well, he's the captain, and Van Dijk's probably a better talker.
But Andy Robertson is vice-captain.
Andy Robertson's vice-captain, and, you know,
he talks.
And I'm sure he can talk really well. I feel like players have to get paraded out into the media.
But that's what I'm saying.
When he might not want to.
But that's where the game's gone, though, Jay. Outside of football now, how everything's gone with the media side, that's how it's gone.
But some footballers are still entitled to not do
Of course, but people feel like now, unfortunately as well, people feel like they've got that connection and feel like they're warranted to get close and to hear the thoughts of the main players via social media or via the Matchday media. That's what it is.
But aren't you also allowed to have a bit of, I'll do my talking on the pitch?
Well, he ain't at the moment.
Well, no, he's not.
No, he certainly ain't doing that at the moment.
But why does he have to change his ways then? Because I'm not doing it on the pitch. I've got to then come out and talk to the media and explain myself. No, he's having a tough time in a minute. Get your head down and play football.
Post-match, who decides? Does the captain decide? Does the manager decide? Who decides?
Majority of the time, it is the media people that obviously put you forward and say, like, it's you, and then 9 times out of 10 it's either the person that's, like I say, has been man of the match or centre forward, scored a brace or whatever it is that go and speak. Or when it's difficult situations.
So if you lose, what happens?
Most of the time, the Liverpool press officer will say, Van Dijk, he's the captain, we've got beat. The press officer will say, we want to put you up for the media.
But regardless of that, it is also, so 9 times out of 10, it's the strongest person in the dressing room, as in talking-wise, that can handle the pressure and the difficult question that comes when you're under scrutiny because you haven't been performing. Normally, it's the strongest players that come up. Liverpool going through that situation they are at the moment. You would say Mo Salah's the strongest person talking about it, but he's a senior player. He's a Liverpool legend, Egyptian international legend. Like, he'd have been. I understand he does his football, he's talking on the pitch, right? But the way the game's gone, I can't get away from the fact that he's the person everybody looks to, on and off the pitch, as fans and players.
Yeah, but I also think there's a bit of a protection from Liverpool with him as well. You know, he's not performing well. He's not playing well. He also knows, the press officer will know what type of questions are going to be coming his way. They're going to be talking about new signings. They're going to be talking about his display, him not scoring goals. You know, I don't feel like Mo Salah needs to come out because he's not playing well and talk to the press.
Alexander Isak, then, Charlie, as a striker, again, his form hasn't been great, although he has had injuries, I know that. Would you start him against PSV tomorrow?
I wouldn't. I'd play Ekitike. For me, like, is the man there. But with Isak, he's going to play, because he's trying to play him as much as he can to get him into form, getting that goal scoring. My issue with it all is Liverpool don't play for a number 9. Liverpool haven't played for a number 9, an out-and-out number 9 for years. Bobby Firmino wasn't a 9 for Liverpool. He was a 9/10 link man. He played, the ball went through Firmino, then to play, release Salah and Mane. Now, Isak is in that position where it is balls in behind. And even that was evident, on Saturday, by the way, in the first half for Newcastle. They play for the number 9, balls in the box, crossing, Volmar's heading the ball, Barnes at the back post. Liverpool don't seem to do that. Inverted wingers, Salah, we've always played to Salah out on the right, who cuts in listen, for the few years he's been bending in the top corner. But so I do feel sorry for Isak in certain scenarios because Liverpool haven't played and don't play to their striker.
I think you've got to start looking at that fact. Maybe you take Salah out of the team. Like maybe you actually do, and because if you're going to talk about bringing in these players that Ekitike, your Isak and Wirtz, and getting them all fit together, like Charlie's absolutely right. When Mo Salah plays, it's all about Mo Salah. It's all about getting the ball out to him, cut inside goal. No one else really gets a kick.
Yeah.
But if you're going to try and get Ekitike, Isak, Wirtz, all making things happen, all creating chances, scoring goals, I think the only real option then is to potentially take out Salah.
And does that get the best out? Because obviously Liverpool are not getting the best out of Isak at the moment. They're not getting the Newcastle Isak that we see for a few years. So does that mean that Salah comes out to get the best out of him? But he was brought in to play together, to link it all going. And then, OK, on the flip side of that also, if you take Salah out, does that then bring the best out of Isak? Are you getting the best out of Florian Wirtz then? Because everything will then go through him.
They played 4-4-2 in the Champions League earlier this season. They won, I think it was 5-1 they won, with Wirtz on the right of a 4 and Ekitike and Isak up front together.
Yeah.
Do you like the idea of changing the system?
Well, I think they've got to change the system because it's not working what they're doing, right? They're going out and playing the same way that and they're thinking it's going to work and putting players in positions where it's not really happening for them, and they can't get it right. So maybe you have to look at maybe we take out a legend who has been undroppable for the last 6-7 years, and maybe we change the system and look to try and fit the players that we've signed to put them into a system that might benefit the team. It's a really difficult decision. Mo Salah's put up numbers over the last 10 years which are incredible. No one's seen anything like it. But there is always going to be a day. There's always going to be a time when time catches up with you. And is that the time? Is it starting to happen now? Are we starting to see the time catching up with Mo Salah? I don't know. He's entitled to have an off period, of course he is. But the numbers that he's been putting up makes him undroppable. But this season he's been nowhere near them numbers. It catches up with everyone eventually.
But the spotlight's always going to be on Mo Salah, regardless, because he's been putting up their numbers and he's been Liverpool's poster boy. He's the main guy because he's been putting up their numbers. But now they're bringing in players in, he can't get away from it. It's £450 million. No one's worried about what money they brought in. It's what money they've spent. And because them players they've brought in haven't hit the ground running, everyone looks at Salah and think, right, do you know what? You're not connecting all this together, because Liverpool have been so dominant when they've got the ball of just looking at Salah to making something happen. And have they got the players now where even if you look at it last year with Diaz, Núñez, that has obviously gone, and Salah, them two were so unselfish that everything went through Salah. Isak, I'm not seeing it that way because Newcastle just played for the number 9. Liverpool almost play for their right winger. And rightly so, because he puts up the numbers.
What about Liverpool's mentality, Jamie? The reason I ask you about this is because they've lost every game except one that they've gone behind this season.
Yeah, I mean, well, the mentality at the start of the season I thought was all right. They weren't playing great, but they were getting results. They were coming up with some big wins. I remember the game Newcastle away. They scored in the 93rd minute to win 3-2. So, I wouldn't say the mentality is wrong there. I mean, they're the current champions. I think what's gone wrong is I think they've lost a bit of belief in what they're doing. I think they've lost a bit of belief in the new players that have come in to keep them at the level that they were before. And I think some of the players who are there now who are relying on, Isak, Ekitike and Wirtz and Kirkes and Frimpong to come in and be like, right, hit the ground running, guys. This is Liverpool and this is where we're at. And it hasn't quite happened. And then the pressure's on them all of a sudden to be like, right, we need Salah. Oh, we need to get them. Van Dijk's got to be at his best, and Conor Bradley and, look, Konate. And I feel like all of them all of a sudden have gone, we're all in a bit of panic mode here. We haven't quite found the formula to get it right. I wouldn't say it's a mentality issue. I would say it's more of a belief issue within the squad.
Liverpool head into Wednesday's Champions League tie with PSV under a particular microscope because the spotlight is focused squarely on Mohamed Salah's form and what that means for the Reds' attacking threat. Once the unstoppable engine of this side, Salah's numbers this season have dipped. His league output and shots per 90 are significantly down compared with last term, and his involvement in the penalty area, touches in the box and high-quality chances, has been reduced, leaving Liverpool short of the clinical edge they relied on. tactically, Arne Slot still clearly values Salah as a central attacking fulcrum, but the system tweaks and personnel changes since last season have altered his usual cues and relationships. The loss of a settled right-side partnership and the rotation of key midfield connectors means Salah gets fewer predictable service patterns. Consequently, he is forced to drop deeper or drift wide more often, which reduces his shot volume and finishing opportunities. Slot's brief comments about needing patience with the squad's rebuild underline that the issue is systemic, not solely the player's fault. The match versus PSV at Anfield, kickoff Wednesday, November 26, offers both risk and reward. PSV arrive as tactically compact and dangerous on the break. They punished Liverpool earlier in European competition and will not be intimidated by the venue. For Salah, this is a chance to reclaim territory inside the box, the way he did recently when he reached personal milestones, but only if Liverpool can restore quicker ball circulation and clearer positional patterns that allow him to attack the penalty area more frequently. Practical solutions for Slot are straightforward in principle. Protect Salah with a more stable midfield spine to win second balls, free him from excessive defensive shuttling, and prioritize quicker, punchier entries into the final third rather than prolonged territorial possession. Squad selection matters too. A fit Alexander Isak or a sharper running partner can pull defenders in open lanes that produce the kind of high-value chances Salah needs. If those adjustments come before the PSV tie, Salah could be set for a meaningful response. If they do not, Liverpool risk another night where their talisman is peripheral rather than decisive. In short, Mohamed Salah's slump is real but recoverable. The upcoming Champions League test at Anfield will be an immediate measure of whether Arne Slot can reorganize the team to put their chief goal threat back at the heart of the action.